Before we proceed ahead, let's understand what is correlation research. Correlation is a type of non-experimental research method in which a researcher measures two variables and understand and assess the statistical relationship with, between them with no influence from any extraneous variable. This research design investigates relationship between variables without the researcher controlling or manipulating any of them. A correlation reflects the strengths and or direction of the relationship between two or more variables. So the direction of correlation can be either positive or could be negative. When I say positive correlation, that means both variables change in the direction. As height increases, weight also increases. Negative correlation, the variable change in opposite direction. As coffee consumption increases, tiredness decreases. Zero correlation. There is no relation between the variables. Here, coffee consumption is not related to WI. So, what is positive correlation? That is also known as PCA, that is positive correlation analysis. Positive correlation research is an important strategy that uses two significantly correlated variables to see if an adjustment in one causes a similar transformation in the other. For instance, a rise in employee wages can lead to a rise in the cost of the product, and likewise. Negative correlation analysis, NCRA. So, negative correlation research is a study where strategy that involves two numerical opposing characters at which an increase in one variable has an opposite reaction or a drop from the other. If the price of the product or services rises, prices plummet, and inversely. This is an example of negative correlation. Next is zero correlation analysis. Zero correlation analysis is a method of analysis in which there is no connection between a form of similar experiment known as zero correlation research combines multiply parameters which were not mathematically related. A movement from one of the factors might not even cause an equal or opposite modification in the other variable in this scenario. Reasons for the differences in ambiguous causal links are accommodated by zero correlation research, even though money and endurance are linearly separable. These are the factors in zero correlation study. So, the correlation coefficient shows the correlation between two variables, where a correlation coefficient is statistical measures that calculates the strength of the relationship between two variables. A value measured between -1 and +1. When the correlation coefficient is close to +1, there is a positive correlation between the two variables. If the value is relative to -1, there is a negative correlation between two variables. When the value is close to 0, there is no relationship between the two variables. So let's just understand this one with one small example. Consider hypothetically, a researcher is studying correlation between cancer and marriage. In this study, there are two variables, disease and marriage. Let us say marriage has a negative association with cancer. This means that married people are less likely to develop cancer. However, this does not necessarily mean that marriage directly avoids cancer. In correlation research, it is not possible to establish the fact what causes what. It is a misconception that a correlation study involves two quantitative variables. However, the reality is two variables are measured, but neither is changed. That is true independent of whether the variables are quantitative or categorical.